Welcome back to Tobago Updates here on Youth Wednesdays here on Portmore Scarborough. We are here to start off the morning with our first interview. In studio, we have with us this morning Mrs. Nathisha Charles-Pantin, Assemblyman, of course, Secretary for Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development. Good morning, Mrs. Pantin.
Good morning, Natalia. Good morning, Bagatelle Bacalet. Good morning, Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, clearly we know where she represents.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Well, we know her as Assemblyman. We've seen her on all of us. She's graced our screens many times in the form of Assemblyman. This morning, however, she's here to speak to us as the overseer of the internal elections process and the person who is ensuring all different units work together, right? So we know that the T.P.P has been busy in what they're doing in the THA, of course. We know that recently they did an internal rotation of their officers, and now we are looking at an internal elections for the T.P.P. Yes, so Mrs. Pantin is here to speak to us about that today. Before we start, could you just tell the viewers what date the elections are carded for? When can we look forward to it?
The election is carded for Sunday, this coming Sunday. I know there's a lot of excitement in this space.
Yes.
As you see, things started to warm up this week. And I'll tell you something. I'm a very quiet team lead. So as you see, this is the first time I'm appearing.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that being the team lead, I have a whole lot of experienced persons working to ensure that the election comes off smoothly.
Yes.
Yeah. So I know Councillor Orr has been on air, Mr. Richard Alfred, a lot of persons, from within the party core. They have a lot of experience. So it's just bringing together all those experiences to ensure that we build a solid party. Yeah?
Okay. All right. And what do you believe to be the value of the internal elections?
Well, we're forming a new party, and it must be from the ground up.
Okay.
People must have a say around the table, yeah? And hopefully we'll have a lot of grassroots people being able to form the executive of the party and working in conjunction with the executive to ensure that we prosecute autonomy, but also to lead Tobago in the direction it should go, right? And I believe that democracy within this process is extremely important. More so having a representative from different areas around Tobago, right? I like the fact that, you have both some executive members challenging persons that are outside the executive, right? Because you want to see what Tobagonians, what would be the outcome of this election, whether or not, they want a strictly non-executive executive of the party, so you want to see the outcome, and I'm totally excited, even though I'm in the background where I love to be. Yeah, I'm totally excited.
Okay. What role have you played thus far in preparation for the elections?
Well, I remember the day when the Chief Secretary asked me to become part of the process in terms of organizing the party. And the first thing I would have done was form a caucus of the executive to plan the way forward. And that caucus was made up of mostly assistant secretaries because, the amount of work that secretaries would have to do, I didn't want to get into that. Yeah. So it's a caucus of us that decided, okay, let us find all those brilliant minds, all those hard workers within the communities, get them on board in order to, push all the activities that we needed to get done to form the party. And of course, even Anne Second, she's now running for chairman. She was one of them that we asked to serve, in that capacity, to be on the ground and to, help bring the people together. And she had the knowledge as well from being around parties, right? Several people you see now offering themselves. Yeah, Otis Noel, a lot of people, they already, at the forefront. I met people that I didn't even know before. Jacqueline Adams, so people, it was an opportunity to get to know everybody on the ground. And my start in politics was not this party. It was under the last administration. So I had to get acquainted with everybody. And it was a very good feeling for me because I've always said that I don't see color. And, so embracing everyone to form the party, I see the value in that. Because if we have to form the greatest little island on the planet, we all have to come together and sign on to that vision.
Yes. Yes. So this is you, even if, as you said, you have worked for the past administration, you are willing to go forward with the present administration.
Correct.
I think that's a good step in the right direction for the best little island on this planet.
On the planet.
Right? So you told me about your hand in the process thus far. How has been the actual process thus far in preparation for the elections?
So there are a lot of moving parts. The process, I think it's going extremely smooth, given the short time that we had to plan for the Sports and Family Day event and to also pull off the internal elections. But as I said, the team that we have, they have a lot of experience, and that is why it is so smooth. I want to commend them. The internal the Internal Elections Committee, I want to commend them for their hard work. As you see that I've been having some sleepless nights, yes, because I ran in here for this interview. But I believe it's all worth it. As I said, we have to, build an island that, we can achieve autonomy. We could, self-determination is important for any island at all.
Yes.
And I'm hoping that, when we build this party and we continue building this party and the executive, they would have that mandate that they embrace everyone. It doesn't matter race, religion, everybody come on board.
Yes.
Because in order to do it, we have to do it together. When the rain falls here, it will fall on everybody. When the vessels stop running between Trinidad and Tobago, it affects all of us here.
That's correct.
So we all have to have one mindset to fix Tobago.
Okay. So moving into the actual election process, how will members be aware of where their polling stations are? Because there are different polling stations set up. So how will the members know?
Okay, so we have an excellent PR team.
Yes.
And they have been sending out notices on all the WhatsApp groups. If you follow the T.P.P page, Facebook, Instagram, all of that you can find there. And of course, the party headquarters is at the TLH building.
Okay. All right. And in terms of the code of conduct, how they conduct themselves, right? Is there a T.P.P code of conduct for these elections?
Yes, the code of conduct you can also find on the Instagram, Facebook, on the WhatsApp chat, right? Of course, we have a code of conduct because they've been doing very well, right? I must say. It's not like in the past where you would have had terrible internal elections, resulting in persons, creating different factions everywhere, right? At the end of this exercise, everyone will still be embraced, to build the party. And that is what it's all about. If you get consumed with the power of becoming whatever you want on the executive, then something must be wrong, because you're not there to soothe your own ego and, to embrace the power. But you would be serving to ensure that everybody have a voice, right? Everyone would have a voice at the table. And of course, being able to empower persons to sign on to the vision of building the greatest little island on the planet. And it's not about personal or self-interest.
Okay. And before we take our break, I want to just, what to say. Just get the mind boggling on this question. Are you pleased with the number of persons offering themselves for the position?
Oh, definitely. You have what, about 25, over 25 people offering
Yes,
themselves,
approximately. Yeah.
and that's a good sign. Yeah, it's an excellent sign. As a matter of fact, I think if you have to compare it to the last administration, they didn't have anybody really challenging many of the positions, and so it speaks to the level of excitement to
Yes.
form this new party, a party being formed from the ground up, a party that is Tobago-centric,
Yes.
right? So I'm extremely pleased with the number of people that have offered themselves.
In answering this question, I am also pleased as well. It also gives the people on the ground per se a voice.
Yes,
Yes.
the ground people
Yes.
must have a voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, as we continue on in this interview, we ask you to stay tuned and share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Put a smile on your face.
And we are back here on Tobago Updates, Youth Wednesdays. We continue on in studio. We have with us Mrs. Nathisha Charles-Pantin, the Assemblyman of, the Secretary for Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development, acting in the capacity of overseer of the internal elections process for the T.P.P. So we are continuing on. We are having a very interesting discussion about the process of the internal elections, what her take is on who has been elected to run for office in those elections. So, Mrs. Pantin, we continue on. Are you pleased with the level of campaigning of the candidates thus far?
Well, I'm pleased. I believe that you would have a little banter here and there,
Yes.
but I'm totally pleased. You don't have a lot of slander happening, right? I don't think it's healthy because you have, people trying to vie for positions in the same party.
Yes.
But you do have to market yourself in order to win. Yeah, win. So I am pleased with the level of campaigning. Persons, I'm seeing them sharing their profiles. I've seen them on in the media trying to say what they will bring to the table.
Yes.
And listening to the level of conversation coming out. I've listened to Miss Chrislyn Moore. I've listened to Miss Anne Second. So I've listened to even secretaries as well. So I'm extremely pleased as to what they have said they would put forward if they become, what they wanted on the executive. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Yes, and I must say that I mean I've looked at some of the names who
Yes.
have gone up for the
Yes.
election process, and it also has to do with character before the actual elections happen. So some of the positions that they applied for, you could see where they would actually do well in the capacity if they are even voted in.
Correct.
Right? So yes, there is present campaigning of the person's profile and stuff like that, but there is also them being a normal citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, in Tobago, doing their thing, and now people seeing where their character would fit in into the elections.
Correct.
Yes.
And they're all hard workers. If you listen to their histories and, what they would have contributed to Tobago, I believe that they are all hard workers, and definitely the executive would benefit from any one of them. Yeah. So it is a matter of how the Tobago electorate, the T.P.P electorate, how they would analyze which is better. And I wish everybody good luck.
I wish them luck as well. All right. How many slates are there in this internal election? And do you think the TTP members are obligated to vote a slate as opposed to an individual? What is your take on this?
Well, in this election, there are no slates really, right? The electorate, the T.P.P electorate, they would have to vote for who they think is best fit for each position. So there's no slate. You may have people who teamed up based on their history in the field.
Yes.
So, and maybe they might see value in campaigning that way. But according to the party rules, there are no slates at all. So you can vote for anybody vying for any position. Yeah? So there are no slates. right? You look carefully, look at everybody vying for the position, listen to them, listen to their campaigns, and you make the best decision you can on election day this coming Sunday.
Yes, and I do agree. Whoever you think is best suited for the position, you do it on what you think is right. All right. Thank you, Miss Pantin, Miss Pantin for sharing that piece of advice to those who have to vote for who has to be elected. All right. Is everything in place for the internal elections? I mean, you said there was a lot of things going on in this space. You had the Sports and Family Day to prepare for, but you said that you had an excellent team working with. So, are you ready for the internal elections on Sunday? Is everything prepared?
So let me first say that this entire journey, most people would have been volunteering their services, and they come. I'm extremely impressed with the level of work, the level of dedication they displayed throughout. And I would say yes. I think everything is in place. If not, everything should be in place by the end of this week. We have some training happening this week. So outside of that, I think we have everything else ready, right? We have the polling stations, the necessary officers to execute their duties on polling day. So we have everything in place. And I believe that the candidates themselves, they are prepared, they are ready. I don't think that I have ever experienced a more organized election. Yeah, this is extremely organized, and I must give credit to the team. Yeah, we have a lot of talented people in this space, and they come from all walks of life. They would have represented in different parties. And this is a very good example of a party coming together from all different parties and being able to work together to build something Tobago-centric. I'm pretty impressed. And it speaks to the bigger issue that this journey is not a journey for a party, right? This is a journey for the people of Tobago.
Yes.
And we have successfully brought together all the people to ensure that we have a good representation of what Tobago looks like. Yeah, so I'm sure that we are ready for Sunday.
Okay, you sound very ready based on what you've
Yes.
been saying. What will you like to see happen after persons have been voted in by the membership to form the new T.P.P executive? What would you like to see going forward?
Well, personally, let me say that I've studied in different countries. I've worked with a lot of teams before, and I would not, according to the old people, put water in my mouth to say that sometimes you're in a group and some people would carry the group while others just move along. It is something that I try not to encourage, even as a secretary with my division, because we have a lot of people that are, we have people that are aggressive, different personalities.
Yes, of
They
course.
will be aggressively ambitious. You have silent people that are very ambitious. And then you have people who, they know we're here or not there. So they just go along. I would like to see that the team that has been voted in, they function as a team. And not, I think a few of them have it all together, so I will just work along with whatever.
Yes.
No. I want everyone to contribute, to pull their weight, so to speak, right? So that we don't shortchange the people of Tobago, right? You give of your best. It is something that I encourage anywhere I am, because I understand the value of having everybody on the team contribute.
Yes.
You get excellent results when people work together. Yeah? And that is why it was important for us to set the stage in terms of how each person vying for the position, how they campaign. The slander is not necessary, right? If you see that as necessary, that means something, it speaks to your personality. If you are on the same team, then you would not need to slander anybody on the same team. And we are Team Tobago.
Yes.
Yeah, we are Team T.P.P.
And
Yeah?
might I put in that, well, in experience, it doesn't have to be in elections per se, but I've experienced where, I mean, a team is as strong as its weakest link.
Correct.
What happens, it is amazing to see what happens when your weakest link is actually strong. When the team is acting as a team, and as you said, for the benefit of Tobago. So we do look forward to a properly functioning T.P.P executive.
Correct.
All right. You mentioned you had a Sports and Family Day. Could you just enlighten us on why you had that Sports and Family Day before the election process?
No, the Sports and Family Day, I mean, a lot of people would have said, Secretary, why not have it after the internal elections? Now, the Sports and Family Day was not a competition to see who better than who politically, right? I think the days for that really, gone. My focus was to bring everybody into the space to get familiar with each other again. We all have different lives, and even at the executive level, we have so much work to do that the difficulty of finding time to play is extremely, it's hard.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was an attempt to bring us all to one space. It was an exciting event. Nobody cared who came from where, and and I love the rivalry, you call it. You had the East against the West and the North, and everybody, basically created that energy that we needed. The competitive energy. Who better than who? In terms of demographics. And, it brought a cheerful feeling among the membership. And that is what it was about. To show that, hey, we are staging this because we want people to heal after. And no. This was a natural process for us. Getting together, becoming familiar, meeting, talking, playing with the kids. We're entering into an election, a peaceful one, might I add. And with God's grace, it will remain like that until Sunday. Yeah?
Yes.
But again, as I said, even though the persons that are vying, they aren't voted in, they will be, their skills will be harnessed in order to serve the party.
And I was just about to ask that, how do you all plan on treating with the persons who might not make it through the, win for the position in the election?
A party has so many things that, that we have to get done. I mean, you're basically trying to form a party, right? Yeah. So you'd definitely need a lot of committees and subcommittees in order to execute a lot of the activities that we have upcoming. Yeah, and that is how we intend to go forward, embracing everyone and more, not only those vying for the positions, but you have a lot of talented people in this space. They're willing to give of themselves, they're willing to volunteer as well. So we are accepting everyone because, as I said, this is our Tobago and we are the ones to fix it.
Yes. Okay, so thank you so much, Mrs. Pantin, for being with us here this morning. For those of you just joining us, we are here with Mrs. Nathisha Charles-Pantin. I mean, yes, we know her as the Assemblyman who graces our screens from time to time, but she was here speaking to us about the internal elections to be hosted by the T.P.P. She will be the overseer of these internal elections. Might I say before we go, according to one of our viewers, this is progress and we see Tobago actually moving forward through these elections. All right, so viewers, we ask you to stay tuned. We ask you to continue to look on and be excited for what's upcoming. Mrs. Pantin, once again, thank you so much for being with us here this morning. Viewers, we encourage you all to share the live, share the live, share the live.